In this video, we're gonna be sharing 5 ways that you can make money as a stay-at-home mom. Am I a mom? Yeah, you made me a mom. Didn't you make me a mom? Yeah. You little goof. Now these 5 things don't necessarily just apply to moms. It can be anyone if you just want a sideline that you can run from home. Anyway, it is an absolutely gorgeous day. So we're gonna go to the park and we'll talk about the 5 ways to make money there. See you there. All right, here we are at the park. So before we jump into the 5 ways that you can make money as a stay-at-home mom, I'm terribly excited today. I'm collaborating with Megan Fox. Goof, why don't you go around and go down the slide? So I'm super excited. Today I'm collaborating with Megan Fox Unlocked. I'm sure many of you know her. If you haven't, make sure to go over and check out her channel. She is a stay-at-home mom of 2 young children. She is also a Mennonite and she's a real go-getter. She gets things done. She has lots of tips on her channel, just a lot of mom-related stuff. Today she is doing a video on ways that she saves money as a stay-at-home mom. So make sure to check that out after you watch this video. I'll have links in the description. So now let's jump into my 5 tips for making money as a stay-at-home mom. First way you can make money, pretty generic, pretty obvious, but what is your hobby? What is your passion? This can vary. Some people might not know right offhand. You have to think about it a little bit. My personal passion is photography. I've liked this ever since I was young, but it was my husband that pushed me to take it to the next level. He bought me a DSLR camera when we were engaged for our engagement gift. And then when we were married, he bought me a photography course. I started taking pictures for other people. I got into weddings. And as I got better, I started charging more. And so I would just suggest, yeah, figure out something that you're good at. Everyone is good at something. And develop and focus in on that skill and see if you can reach out to people that would be willing to pay you to help them out in whatever area you feel you can help them with. Now the second way to make money is really popular with stay-at-home moms. And that is multi-level marketing. Now before you all jump on the hate bandwagon, just give me a second to explain. I know some people feel like this is a pyramid scheme, but I personally like to stick up for multi-level marketing companies. I used to be a Norwex consultant. The ironic thing is I'm not really a salesperson type, and I never really enjoyed going to like these in-home parties, and so it was kind of ironic that I became a salesperson, and I never was completely comfortable with it. It's not really my personality, so I actually quit. But I still appreciate the companies. Of course there's a bunch that are maybe scams and a joke, but there's some that are really, really good quality products. How it works is the company just basically takes out all the middlemen and goes directly to you. So if you think about it, if you were a company, it would take them out so many expenses. You wouldn't have to have buildings, you wouldn't have to pay for them, you wouldn't have to pay for employees, for managers in those stores. You wouldn't have to worry about not getting enough business in that location and possibly the store not making out. It just goes directly from the company to the salesperson. And so obviously they can pay more to you if you sell their product, and then you get a bigger commission than if you were actually just working as an employee under them. I think there's a lot of great companies. Speaking of which, I have a stay-at-home mom I'd like to give a shout out to. She sent me some incredible products I want to show you right now, and then we'll move on to the 3rd point. Wow! I wanted to share a company with you. It's called UsBorne Books. And a lady by the name of Dianne reached out to me. She sent me a bunch of these books and I completely love them. So if you want to show your support and help out another mom, check them out. I'll have links below. Wow! Here, how about one at a time? Are you getting them all out? You got all kinds of nice books. Favorites, and I had requested this one specifically. It's called Little Bear Needs Glasses. There's a bunch of glasses in here. I'm not sure exactly what it is. but it's like a sticker that you can take off and on as many times as you need. And I think if the stickiness wears off, I think there's a way you can like run it under warm water or something. So little bear is going through the book trying to find glasses. Like all his friends have glasses and he's trying to find the perfect fit. Anyway, so here are multiple glasses. You can go and put them on different of the animals. It is such a neat little book. Xander just loves it. Let me just show you a couple more. She asked what type of books I wanted. I said Xander just loves animals. Just beautiful, beautiful books. Here's another really nice one called The Zoo. I have found that children love books with lots of little detail. They can just look and look and look. All kinds of animals, people, many different expressions, things they're doing. Yeah, beautiful books. This book is $8.99. It's basically no difference than what you would buy at the store. The Gobble Gobble Moo, another really, really neat book with farming animals. I'm turning on the engine. It's wiggling and jiggling. And the tractor is driving off the lane. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I can do the engine when the tractor goes fast, said cow. Cat looked at sheep. Goose looked at sheep. Thank you so much, Diane, for these books. And guys, feel free to check it out in the links below. Now we're getting into the 3 more out-of-the-box ways of making money. I've never really seen these tips on any other mom's channel. And I understand that this probably isn't the cup of tea for most of y'all, but I am trying to have a couple on here that's a little bit out of the box and not just the standard that everyone talks about. So the third one would be actually buying and selling things. There's a couple different ways I do this, and it takes a little bit of time to kind of get to understand the value of things. Say if you're thrift store shopping, or if you go to a yard sale, or if you go to a flea market, or any type of that thing, and you see an item that you think is priced under its value. You can buy that item, bring it home, and resell it either on your local marketplace like Craigslist or Facebook, or you can sell it on eBay. This is actually a fun way, for me at least, to make money. So as a photographer, one thing that I have noticed is that hands down, an ad with a really good quality picture will sell way better than any other ad of the same product. You would be amazed at some of the horrendous pictures that people put on an ad where you can hardly even see what the item is. For me, I personally love camera gear, and so since I'm a photographer, I'm fascinated with it, and I understand a lot of Canon's camera gear line. So I enjoy buying and selling camera stuff and other things as well. But let's just talk specifically about cameras right now, just something as a reference point. So if I see a picture that is really bad, and I'm pretty sure that the camera is a good buy, you can usually get that for a lot less because no one else is interested. Sometimes the price is low. Sometimes you can make best offers or bid on an item, and I have done that a lot. Cleaned up something, taken really good pictures of it, and sold it for what it's actually worth. You can do that with anything. Obviously, make sure it works. Don't sell people junk. And I know this is kind of reverse thinking. A lot of people will say, go to like yard sale, your local marketplace, buy items and sell them on eBay. But I have found that there is a lot of people that do not want to buy things online. They don't want their information out there, and so they prefer buying locally. And so I have taken that and I have switched it, and I buy off of eBay and online things. I'll bring it home, test it out, clean it up, take really good pictures of it, and sell it locally, and I can usually make money. And of course, I tell them if it happens to not work, if I miss something, please let me know. If you're meeting, make sure to meet in a public place. Be safe, don't take any risks, don't go to people's homes. So that is something I do, just wherever I find things that I feel that I could resell. And I think I'm gonna right here jump right into the fourth one, which sort of goes along with that. Maybe you don't have money to invest in something right away, and you don't want to risk that where you're buying something and you're not sure if you can actually sell it again, or you're just kind of, is this really a good thing for me? There's another way that I do this, 2 different ways. Let me talk about the first one. Free stuff. Like on Craigslist has a whole section of free items. I have done really well with this. You can set your phone to get alerts whenever another listing comes up. Every now and then you hit a gold mine, but it doesn't happen very often. Let me give you 2 examples. The first one is, I remember one time I had seen a free kids bike, and it was a little bit different. It was like a Harley Davidson styled bike. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this would be worth something. So I just went and picked it up. brought it home, cleaned it up, and I had so many people messaging me about it. And I think I sold it for $30 or $50, something like that. So obviously it's not much, but if you have no extra side income, it helps. If you're interested in the extra time, I mean, you have to go pick it up, you have to consider the gas it takes, and so on. And so a lot of items like this, you know, you're probably looking at $20 to $50 range of profit, which is nice, but it can also not be a whole lot as well. The second example I want to give is the gold mine that I hit. And once again, I'm just giving you numbers because I know when I watch videos about this kind of thing, I want to actually know numbers and what people are talking about. So I got this alert on my phone that someone wanted to get rid of an old arcade game. Now, I'm not into arcades, I don't know anything about them. But one thing I know is that there is a whole community that is like a gaming community, and some of these old games, like these antique, are very much sought after by this particular group. And I messaged the gentleman and said, I will pick it up, I'll be there as soon as I can. And I didn't give him any questions or nothing because I was pretty sure this was going to be a highly demanded item. I was lucky. He told me, he picked me because I was so straight to the point. I felt a little bit weird picking up an arcade game. It was huge and it was heavy. Anyway, but we got it. I brought it home, cleaned it up. Long story short, I was able to sell it for $800. And I found out later it was probably actually even worth more than that, but that was just crazy. $800 for something that someone gave away free. Now, it did take a lot of work to go pick it up, to unload it. I had to like somehow get it off with the skid loader and strap it on and all that. But if you're willing to go with your husband or whoever, it's often wise if you take your husband along or take a second person along. Xander got tired of the park and it was about time to bring him home for a nap. So I just thought I'd finish it in the house. They were talking about getting free stuff and what goes right along with that if you don't really want to invest money into purchasing something to try and resell. Another fun and interesting way to make money is by trading. Now, you might be like, what in the world is trading? Let me just explain quickly. The idea of trading is that you take one item that you have and trade it for another person's item. No money exchanged, and their item would be more valuable than yours. And so then you would take that item that they gave you and trade that for something else. And you might be asking now, why would someone do that? Why would someone give you something more valuable than what you have? There are things that people have that they no longer want, they don't need, they don't want to sell it, they don't want to bother with advertising, putting it on sites and whatever, and they might see your ad and what you have is something they want, and so they'd be like, I am willing to trade this for yours. And it's not just like people are just messaging you all the time with more expensive items. Most of the time it is junk, and so you have to have a lot of patience. You have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy all the texts you get, seeing what people are offering you. Often it's nothing you even want. It takes kind of a unique personality to enjoy it. Let me give a few examples of things that we have done. My husband and I did this together. I kind of did the computer work, messaging side of things, and then we would go out often together and do the trades. Not always, but especially for bigger items. So when I came across this concept, I think we were just married for a few years, and I had more time on my hands then than I do now, and didn't have a whole lot of money. I don't think I had much of a job, and I'm like, I would love to have a four-wheeler on our place for garden work, yard work. Just, I grew up with one, and they're just so handy to have around to work with. And this concept of trading was a challenge to me, and I love challenges, and I'm like, do you think I could possibly do this? Once again, I'd like to clarify, this is not a fast process. What I'm going to be telling you is a span of maybe a year and a half or 2 years. There's two ways you can go about finding people to trade with. You either just post an ad, say this is up for trade. It helps if you put into your ad something like, go dig through your closets, your sheds, your garage. If there's anything that you no longer need, I'm open to anything, just shoot me an offer. And you will get a lot of offers for junk. And every now and then you get a winner. So that's the first way. The second way, you can be a little bit more proactive and actually go searching for other things. Just reach out to people and say, would you be willing to trade your item for this? And often they will say, no, I don't want trade, I want cash only. But I actually got quite a few people that said, yes, I'd be willing to trade your item for mine. Now keep in mind, this takes a lot of messages and a lot of time, of which I no longer have this kind of time. But if you want to go a little bit slower, just post your ad on Craigslist. There's like a barter section you can put it under, and then just be patient and let people message you. That takes a good bit longer than if you're proactive. So I took a little point and shoot camera, and at that time it was maybe worth about $30, and we traded it for like a little net book. computer type tablet. From that, we traded it for a little .22 gun. Now I know some of you might immediately be like, trading guns. It's just like a little game rifle we use to shoot birds and stuff. Out here in the country, very common, very popular. And as far as I know, the laws in our state is perfectly fine. You only have to have it registered if it's like a handgun. So this was an antique model. Anyway, I'm just clarifying we're not dealing in arms, but it was just like a little, I wanted to throw it in there so you know the progression here. We traded that for a dirt bike. Now this was like a child-sized dirt bike. And then from there, we actually traded the dirt bike for a three-wheeler. And the three-wheeler was on the farm for a while. We had a lot of fun with it. I was almost thinking of quitting with that because I really enjoyed it, but it still isn't quite the workhorse that a four-wheeler is. They're unsteady, they're tottery, and so on. So eventually we actually traded that for a boat, a John boat maybe. It had a motor, it had a trailer and everything. And we were stuck with that for a while. I couldn't get that one traded, but we had fun with it. And then finally, last of all, this was a really good trade. We traded the boat for a Vespa scooter, a really nice scooter. And we had fun with that, and it was really hard for me to actually give it up, but we didn't really have any practical use for it, except having fun riding it around here on the farm. So we actually decided to just sell it because it was worth a good bit. I forget what we sold it for. I think it was over 2,000 maybe. We used that money to buy the four-wheeler we have now, and then we had some cash left over. So that is how I traded from a camera all the way up to a four-wheeler. It was a challenge. I was just happy I would complete it just to say, you know what? I traded my camera to a four-wheeler. Like, how cool is that? Anyway, but that's not the only one. That's a little bit more dramatic. When I was looking for things to trade, I had like a little iPod, like back in the day when you had your little iPods, you put your music on. I traded that for a snowboard. The iPod was worth maybe about $50, and I just sold the snowboard for $150, so that was like a $100 trade. I didn't always just keep trading. Sometimes I would just cash out. And once again, I'm not telling you these numbers to brag. I don't really feel like this is like a really good way to make money. It's just if you would like a little bit of side money, and something that you enjoy. I enjoy it. It gives a little bit of extra. You get to have some interesting things around your house. So then the other one that we did, Nolan got a new miter saw, and so we took his old one, which was like, what, maybe $30, $40. And I posted it, and this person reached out to me and said, look, I have this, I'm not even sure how you say it, Alessis Eon synth, like what you make music on. I think it's called a synthesizer. I didn't have a clue about it, but I looked it up and my jaw almost hit the floor. And I said, sure, I'd be willing to trade that. And so I posted it on eBay, and the whole thing, I think till I was finished, I think it sold for $500. I think that's what I made after the shipping cost. So that was an incredible trade. Just another couple. This was more with my husband and I. Now I kind of enjoy working at this, and he would do the trading part, meeting the guys, dealing with it. He'd go pick up the stuff. Our neighbor had sold one of these little racing four-wheelers, whatever they are. We got a pretty good deal on it, and we traded that for a toolbox, and then that got traded for a motorcycle. I'm not sure if we made maybe about $1,000 or so profit when we sold that, but Nolan had a lot of fun running around on the motorcycle. And so once again, for the amount of time that you put into contacting people and all that, and then going and getting the things, it doesn't pencil out to this just wonderful way to make money. But I'm just saying, if it's something you think you'd enjoy, it is fun to do. There's more that we did, but I think I'm gonna just stop with that. If you're not sure what an item is worth, just go into eBay and then just type in whatever it is, go under the sold section, and you can see a whole list of items and what they sold for in the last however long. One quick tip before we move on to our last way of making money is if you do decide to trade, don't ever try to trade within a niche. And what I'm trying to say is, let's just take cameras for instance again. If I have a camera that's worth $100, no one with a camera that's worth $150 or $200 is going to swap cameras. Rarely that will happen. You have to jump out of your niche. Let's just say you have a cheap camera, you want to upgrade to a more expensive camera. You're first going to have to most likely trade out of the camera niche. So if you take your camera and you would trade it for something maybe garden related, maybe it would be like a weed whacker, and then you take that weed whacker and you trade it into another category, because people trade easily across categories, but they won't trade much within a category. I hope that makes sense. Then as you trade your way up, once you finally reach the dollar amount that, say, this camera that you want is worth, then you would trade that item back into your camera category. Anyway, this is probably way too long on this subject. I just want to say I know it takes kind of a unique personality to enjoy it, so just take it or leave it. Moving on, last one, number 5. This is another one that once again, most people probably wouldn't want to do. And that is having a product that you sell on Amazon. I think y'all think I'm sounding crazy by now. It's like, why am I even watching this video? All her tips aren't even relatable. But to the few of you that this might interest, and all to the rest of you who still feel like listening, a lot of people don't realize that Amazon is actually made up of a lot of different sellers. Some people see an Amazon warehouse and they think that is Amazon's products specifically in that warehouse. That is actually not the case. Amazon has its own product line, but the majority of sellers on Amazon are third-party sellers. I found out about this concept. It really intrigued me, and so I just dove into it headfirst into like research, study, trying to figure out what it would take to sell on Amazon. I did hours and hours and hours of research. It takes a lot of research and it can be very risky. You have to decide if it's something you would enjoy and if it's worth the risk to you. So the idea of passive income, which means you do a lot of work up front, and once that's finished, it kind of works in the background and keeps generating money, and you don't have to put nearly as much time into it. And I thought, what a great way for a stay-at-home mom to make a little extra cash, because we're so busy all the time. Like, if I would work really hard up front, could I get the ball rolling so that we could have a little bit of a side income where I'm not putting nearly as much work into it? So let me just clarify, there are so many sellers on Amazon that you have to be very, very careful on what type of product you sell. You might be very interested in, say, a coffee mug, and you'd be like, man, this is a cute coffee mug, I'd like to sell this on Amazon. But it probably is going to get lost in the hundreds and hundreds, if not millions, of other coffee mugs. Your ad would just get lost and all the other advertisements. This is where the product research comes in, trying to decide what product would be a demand for, but there's not a lot of competition. You want enough competition that it's obviously selling. You need enough of people searching for this item that it can sell for you. If you're interested in this, there's tons of YouTube videos that talk about how to research and understand this whole concept. So I don't want to expound on that, but I just encourage you, if this at all interests you in any way, make sure to do your research. Make sure that you try to take out as many risk factors as you can before you start, because it takes an investment, it takes a lot of your time, and there is a risk. Your product, no matter how much research you have done, might actually not end up selling well. And when you go and actually list your product, there's also strategies for getting that product to rank to the first page, because in Amazon, if someone types in a keyword search, usually the first 3 items are the ones that sell the most, because that's what people see and that's what they buy. So your goal is to rank your product to the top of the page in the first 3 products for whatever keyword search you need. The other nice thing about Amazon is it's called Amazon FBA, and what it means is they take care of everything for you. Amazon takes care of returns, shipping, everything. So what you do is you find a supplier. Most times it's in China. Sounds extremely overwhelming, but it's actually not. There's a website called Alibaba. You can go on there, you can about find any product. You message them, you say, look, this is what I have in mind. Can you send me a sample? You pay a little bit, you get the sample, you work back and forth with them, you find a company that you like, and then you work together and make the product that you want. Once you have that product, you list your product, you go through the steps and trying to get it ranked. If you want to go the route where you take Amazon FBA, you just take your order. I would pack everything here at home into a big box and send it off to the warehouse. And then from there, they take care of everything. They ship it out, they take care of customer complaints, returns, and everything. You just kind of monitor what's going on in your back office. Once you have the ball rolling, that you're steadily making sales, you don't have a whole lot of work. You practically just make sure you always have enough inventory, and if you're running out of inventory, you order more. Then you package everything at your home and ship it off to the warehouse. So I know that sounds really big and really overwhelming, possibly, but I'm telling you, if you feel like it's something you could be interested in, it's definitely worth looking into. But once again, I just caution you not to jump into it until you're pretty sure it's something you want to try and you want to take the risk involved. The product that I chose, which I'm not actually going to say, but I have like 3 variations of that. And while it doesn't make just an exuberant amount of money, it actually makes enough to be a nice little side income. I sell about 5 to 7 products every day. And so a lot of people on Amazon would consider that not even worth blinking an eye at, but to me it's great. To me it's perfect. And I might in the future think about adding a few more products, I'm not sure. Anyway, I have no idea if this last one meant anything to you at all, if I should have even bothered throwing it in there. But I have a feeling there's probably a few of you that would find this fascinating and something that you might be interested in. So, I have a feeling this is a long video. I hope some of this helped you guys. I didn't want to make a video like every other video out there on ways to make money and just kind of word it differently. I thought it would just be fun to kind of jump out of the rut and give a few other viewpoints on ways that you could possibly make money as a stay-at-home mom. But I do understand if these points don't really jive with you, and I apologize, but these are some things that I have done that I have enjoyed, and maybe some of you would find it enjoyable too. Let me know in the comments what you think. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!